I stopped talking to my toxic mother, my toxic, abusive mother, in 2021 when I realized just how much she hated me. That's a hard pill to swallow, guys. It's a hard pill to swallow. I love my mom, but my mom has never loved me. And this may be a series of videos. Some of you all may agree with me. I'm sure it's going to be a lot more on here saying, girl, that's your mama. You better love your mama. I do. I love her. But I don't want to be nowhere around her. I don't want to talk to her. I don't want her to know what's going on in my life. I don't want her to know none of my business. Not one drop. I don't want her to know if I got a place to live or not. Because she never cared anyway. And if I didn't stop dealing with her in 2021, I would still be homeless or I would be dead. She let me know in 2021 who she really was and who I really was to her. And that was absolutely nothing. Let me try to explain what I mean. When you have a toxic mom who has abused you all of your life, and you see, I'm not a child. I am 63 years old, and I have suffered abuse at the hands of my mom since I was a child. Yeah. I have not lived around my mom for long periods of time. I moved from St. Louis to Atlanta, Georgia in 1991 to get away from her and my sister. I moved back to St. Louis in 96, the biggest mistake of my life. I moved away again, I believe in 2003, 2004. I don't ever even want to visit St. Louis, not even for a funeral. No, Because when I tell you guys what my mom was doing to me for years, and some of you are going to say, girl, honey, that don't exist. It didn't happen to you. It happened to me. And trust me, it does exist. And what exactly am I talking about that she did? And what exists? My mom had been doing witchcraft on me for more than 40 years. She was controlling me. And she finally revealed herself for sure in 2021. I always suspected something. That's not something that you want to accuse your mother of unless you're absolutely sure. And guys, I am absolutely sure. I'm absolutely sure. I'm just going to tell you all the end result of why I stopped dealing with her in 2021. For years, I have been going through hell. I mean, I just knew something was wrong. I just couldn't quite put my finger on it, but I knew something was wrong. When I turned 50, I was told by a prophetess that someone was using witchcraft on me. And when this woman told me this, I automatically knew who it was. My mind went straight to my mother. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe it. I convinced myself, nah, my own mother wouldn't be doing this to me. I know this to be true, but that's my mom. She would not be doing something like this to me. So I dismissed it. I was going through hell, but I still dismissed it. I was talking to a friend of mine one day, and I says, I feel like I've been living under a black cloud most of my life. And my friend said, the Bible tells us don't be ignorant of wicked devices. I still dismissed it because I didn't want to believe that my mother could hate me that much. She would stoop that low to control me and try to ruin my life by using witchcraft on me. But she did. She did. There are 2 incidents in my life. If I had paid attention back in 1983 when I was pregnant with my son, I would have cut her loose then. When I left St. Louis for Atlanta, I should have cut her out of my life then. Everything that I've done since 2021, I should have did back then. Had I done those things back then, all the hell that I experienced throughout my life never would have happened. You see, someone who hates you, they need your information to control you, to put blocks on your life. My mom, all my life, has asked about my personal business. I can remember asking her something one time and she said, "It ain't none of your business." And I thought to myself, I'm grown. Now, you got enough common sense to tell me something ain't none of my business, but you always asking about my business. And I told her, well, you know what? Since that's the way you feel, when you ask about my personal business, remember, it's none of your business, so stop. She didn't stop. She kept right on. She kept right going. Sometimes I wouldn't tell her things. Oh, she was crafty. She'd get her information somehow. She even told me one time, I got my watchers. And when she said that, I was like, what does she mean by that? When she said it, she was all happy and excited. Oh, yeah, I got my watchers. Guys, let me tell you what watchers are. Watchers are those spiritual advisors that people, when they're doing witchcraft on you, they got them looking into your life as to see what's going on. You give them information and they feed it to that person. And that person can pretty much tell them what to do. Tell them what's going on in your life. There have been some times when my mom called me and it was just strange. I remember her calling me once when I lived in Texas, asking me, where was I? I says, I'm at home. No, where you at? I says, I'm at home. No, I need to know where you at, exactly where you at. I says, Mom, I'm at home. I'm at home in Texas. Did you see somebody in St. Louis that you think look like me? You know, and you only saw them for a second and they got away from you or something. What's going on? Oh, well, I'll talk to you later. That was strange. It was strange. I got off the phone saying to myself, what is wrong with this woman? Why is she calling me, asking me where I'm at? Because, she know what she had done. And I wasn't homeless yet. Because it was a few weeks later. I called her and I lost my place. And I told her, Mama, I just lost my place. I don't know what I'm going to do. And people who are doing witchcraft on you, they are very emotionless. They don't care. They just emotional. And you know what she said when I called her? She says, well, okay, let me know. Well, okay, let me know. Let you know what? And she got off the phone with me. There have been several times in my life that she has been very emotionless when I call her and tell her something. Or if she asks me something about my personal business, she always wanted to know, how much rent did I pay? Just personal questions that you don't think your mom would be asking you. If my mom came to my house and I had mail on the table, she would open my mail and then question me about it. But I found out in 2021. Let me tell you something. When I say I had been going through hell, things kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I had pretty much been homeless for a while. And I'll just say this. My belongings over the years, they were in storage more than they were in a house or an apartment with me. When I moved here to Las Vegas and finally got my own place and went to Texas to move my belongings, my belongings had been in that storage unit for 6 years. 6 years, guys. Like I say, things were going from bad to worse. And in 2021, if I had not started paying attention, and if I had not listened to the Holy Spirit, I might be dead right now. Because I was pretty close to being dead. I came down with this illness just out of nowhere. No one could figure out what was going on with me. I couldn't work. And she didn't stop putting the pressure on. She was steady, whatever she was doing. She was steady doing it, and was going to continue to do it until I was dead. She hates me that much. She hates me that much. She was steady putting the pressure on and on and on. And she had got so comfortable in her mess. Because it had been years. At least 40 years, guys. She had got so comfortable in her mess that she never thought that I would find out. But let me tell you what happened in 2021 that brought it all to the light. I was disabled. Like I said, I came down with an illness just out of nowhere. Nobody could figure out what was going on. I would lose just about every job that I had because I was an insurance risk. I was passing out left and right. I had to apply for disability finally. And she kept saying, well, what are you going to do? This, that, and other. And I told her, I said, I applied for disability. She kept asking me, well, what's going on with your disability? Have you heard anything? I says, well, they turned me down and I've got to have a hearing. Told her what my lawyer said. She kept asking me. She asked me, have they scheduled your hearing yet? I told her, yeah. When is it? I gave her the information. She asked me again, I guess to be sure, a few days later. And the Holy Spirit told me, don't tell her nothing. Don't tell her nothing. And I said, they had to reschedule my hearing because of COVID. And from that day on, when I say that this woman asks me obsessively about my hearing date, when is your hearing? When is your hearing? She would call me at least 2 or 3 times a week. Have you found out? Have they told you anything about your hearing? When your hearing date is? No. And I started wondering, okay, why does she keep asking me about this? It had got so bad that she even had my brother. My brother would come out to the house and she would call me, your brother here, he wants to talk to you. I'd be talking to him. Then all of a sudden he'd say, did they tell you anything about your hearing yet? And I know my brother. And I knew by the way he was asking me, she was putting him up to it. I knew she was putting him up to it. And she just, when I say she asked and asked and asked, and I wouldn't tell her, because the Holy Spirit told me, don't tell her nothing. Till finally, I guess I was pissing her off. She called me one day and she says, look, I need to know the exact date and time of your hearing. Have you found out anything yet? I says, no. Well, when you do, you need to call me and you need to tell me the exact date and time of that hearing. Do you understand me? As soon as you find out, you need to pick up that phone and call me. Do you understand? I need to know. I need to know. Now, guys, when someone calls you and they're forceful like that with you, I got off the phone and I asked myself, wait a minute. Why does she need my information so bad? She has asked me obsessively. And now she's calling me and demanding that I call her as soon as I find out. She is telling me that she needs that information. And I ask myself, why? Why does she need my information that has nothing to do with her? Why does she need my information so bad? Why has she called me obsessively, asking about that very subject right there? Because it was whatever she was doing and had been doing for years that she was putting blocks on my life, stopping me from just having a good life, stopping me from my business from thriving, stopping me from being in a place to live, whatever she had been doing for years. And she knew that this was her last thing to put me in my grave. Because if I put a block on her getting disability, and I know she can't work, she gonna finally give up. She gonna commit suicide, or she's gonna be out there in the streets and somebody gonna kill her or something. This is it. I've done it. I've done it. I just need just this little bit of information because I know she can't work now. I know she only got just a little money coming in from her pension. I got to stop this disability any way I can. Because if I stop this disability, she gonna be homeless forever. I know this is it. I'm going to finally be able to cash in that insurance policy that I got on her and not any of the rest of my kids, but I got it on her. She going to be out of here. Guys, I listened to the Holy Spirit and I didn't tell her. Didn't tell her nothing. And I stopped talking to her. Stopped taking her phone calls. I blocked her out. She had got to the point where she started calling me, FaceTiming me. The Holy Spirit said, she's looking at your background. She want to see where you at. Because when she would call me, I was staying with a friend of mine. I would be on this woman's couch, looking like I had one foot in the grave, looking so beat down, so wore out, just looking like I was months away from being in the grave. And she started FaceTiming me. And I said to myself, my mama don't know nothing about no FaceTiming. Why all of a sudden is she FaceTiming me? Because the Holy Spirit say, she's looking at your background. She want to see if you're still at that person's house or if you're out in the street somewhere. She going to keep calling you because she want to see your background. Because if she see your background, she can pretty much know that what she has done is working. The last time she called me and she tried to FaceTime me, I had moved from my friend's house. I had got my disability and I had moved from Las Vegas back to Georgia. Everything was going good in my life. I was starting to finally move ahead and was beginning to do whatever I need to do so I can make it back and be in my own place, my own place after more than 6 years. My own place. She didn't want that for me. Nope, she did not. But God did. Let me tell you something. Back in 1983, like I said, I should have known back then who she was, because I was pregnant with my son. A married woman living in my own house. And my mom came to my house, the house that me and my husband we were renting. And she brought a little brown paper bag or something, and she says, here, take this. I need you to take a bath in this. I said, what is it? Never mind what it is. You just do what I told you to do. You take a bath in this. Have any of y'all mothers ever done that? You know, you folks who say that's your mom, you're supposed to love her mom. Did your mom do that to you when you was pregnant? Huh? Did she? Put in the comments if your mom did some mess like that to you. And she said it forcefully. And she thought because of all the years of her abusing me, that she still had control over me. And she thought I was going to be stupid enough to take a bath in whatever the hell this was she handed me. When she left my house, it left too. I walked it out of my house and put it in the dumpster in the alley. But she knew whatever it was, she knew I didn't take a bath in it. She knew that when I had my son, she knew I didn't take a bath in it. Because I called my mom after I had my son. And she had me and my husband confused as hell. Because that's what the enemy does. The enemy always wants you to be confused. And boy, when I say I was confused, I was confused. My poor husband kind of looked at me like, what? I called my mom and told her I had the baby. And you know what she said? Okay, I'll talk to you later. Okay, you talk to me later? She didn't ask me what I had. How much did it weigh? What's the name? What hospital? She asked me none of that. None of that. I got off the phone and my husband say, what she say? I said, she say, she'll talk to me later. He say, she didn't ask you what you had, how much it weighed. And I said, look, I said, no, she said she'll talk to me later. He said, is she busy or something? Did she say she had to call you back? I said, no, she said she'll talk to me later. He said, what's wrong with your mom? I said, I don't know. She called me back later that evening. Oh, my God. I hate to see homeless people like this. I really do, guys. It's sad. It hurts my heart because that was supposed to be me. That was supposed to be me. When I see homeless people, I feel for them because sometimes I feel like someone may be going through the same things that I was going through. They may have witchcraft over their life from somebody and they don't even know it. They haven't even realized it. That was supposed to be me. If I had not held on to God's hand and listened to his voice, that would have been me, guys. That would have been me. But anyway, She called me back a little later that evening and said, girl, you had the baby? I said, yeah, Mom, I told you. Denise just called me and she told me you had the baby. I thought you were just talking. I thought you was messing with me when you called me earlier. I didn't know you had the baby for real. She had to cover up. Because whatever she gave me in that little brown paper bag, it was supposed to either kill me or make me have such a rough labor or make my child be handicapped or something. Her expectation of what she tried to do didn't match me calling her when I had my son. And that's why she didn't feel like I had the baby. She felt like, oh, she ain't had this baby. Because she ain't supposed to be sounding like this. She's supposed to be crying or whatever. And the expectations, it just didn't match. So she felt like she ain't had that baby. Because she's supposed to call me crying. She's supposed to call me hurt. She's supposed to call me in pain. You know, telling me, oh, Mom, such and such and such. She knew that whatever she gave me in that little brown paper bag, she knew that I did not take a bath in it. Ooh. Well, guys, I had to stop the video because my friend came out of rehab. And also because sometimes when I talk about this subject, I break down because I still can't believe that my mom actually did this. I still can't believe that people out here actually have moms like that you will never get love from. I've never felt love from my mom. And this is just one of several videos to come. It's sad. It's sad when I had to realize in 2021, for my sanity, for my peace, for me to move on, I had to let her go. I had to realize that the love that I thought I was going to get all of these years, girl, you in your 60s. You ain't going to get it. She ain't going to change. She was trying to kill you. Some of you all better realize y'all holding on to mothers, fathers, family members, men, when you should have let them go a long time ago. You got to release them for your sake and for your sanity, for your closure. So what I hope to gain while I'm telling you all my personal business, one thing that I'm hoping to gain is to get more peace in my life, because I have a measurable amount of peace right now. But I want closure from this for good. And I know God will give me that closure that I am seeking. Another thing that I hope to gain from this, somebody might be dealing with the same thing and not knowing what's going on in their life. Not knowing why somebody always needs their information. Why they're being so intrusive. Why they're being forceful. Why they want every little nook and cranny of your information. Now you know why. And why you're dealing with so much crazy stuff in your life, why things never go right for you? This is why. You need to evaluate who's asking you about your personal information, who you're around. It could be a coworker. It could be your sister. It could be your supervisor. You know, I looked up something online and it says that one of the #1 books that's being sold on Amazon has to do with witchcraft. Guys, we live in a demonic, sad, toxic world. It's sad. So I want you all to be careful of who you're sharing your business with. Even if they're not asking you. Stop telling people your information. Stop expecting people to be happy because you're doing something. You got folks who don't care. They are using your information and wishing you bad luck. Keep it to yourself until after you've done whatever you're planning on doing. You'll say that you want to start a business or something. That ain't gonna work, girl. Ooh, that sounds so stupid to me. Oh, honey, that you just need to just forget that. It ain't gonna happen. Keep your business to yourself. I'm gonna get off of here, guys, because I'm feeling a certain type of way right now. I got to go into prayer. But I'll be okay, guys, because my God has kept me before and after I found out what was going on. I have a beautiful place to stay now. I've been in here for 1.5 years. I have peace in my place. I had a little unrest and I got rid of that. Had a friend that would come by. Oh, I had to let her go. Said she ain't my child. She needs to get it together, but get the hell on away from me, disturbing my peace. I will not keep anyone in my life now if they're disturbing my peace. And it's sad that you have to get to that point in life where you just exit people out of your life. That's what I have to do to maintain my peace. Now, maybe in the future, I'll figure out a better way to handle folks. But right now, that is my way. You're not going to disturb my peace. And if you all have anybody in your life that's disturbing your peace, you better kick them to the curb. You better get rid of them. Because stress will kill you. When I was 22 or 23, the back of my neck felt like a brick. I didn't know what it was. It was stress. I mean, I couldn't even reach back here and move it. It was thick as a brick. And I had a doctor who told me it was like October, November. And that doctor asked me when my next birthday was. And I said in February. And that doctor told me if you continue going the way you're going, you won't make it to your birthday. I took that doctor's advice, went and quit my job, and I will not work a toxic job. I've had a few, and after a while I saw, this ain't worth it. My life is worth more than this job. Gotta let them go. And I have. Guys, thank you so much for listening to me. Please come back to learn more about my hellified life and different things that have went on in my life. This is me purging. I gotta purge it. I got to purge it in order to move forward in my life and have a happy life. Because I've had years of hell. That's gone. That's gone. It's time for me to enjoy life in peace before God takes me home to be with him. Thank you so much for listening. And you guys, be blessed.